Okay.
Can't see your page.
Seem very loud today, don't they?
Humming.
They're loud, right? I'm not really sure. Let me just try. Okay, John. Let me see. Testing. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's good. So we have audio, sound, and visual, but we can't adjust the cameras.
Cameras.
Yeah, to the podium.
Oh,
But we'll have sound.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're good then?
Let's try to do it once.
All right. Good evening, everybody. It's really loud.
Listening room.
We are going to start the work session for March 1st, 2022. It is a little late, but I do appreciate everybody's patience. So if we could take roll call, please.
All right. Commissioner Hewitt,
Here.
Vice Mayor Suey,
Here.
Commissioner Romanek,
Here.
Commissioner McQuaid,
Here.
Mayor Orndorff.
Here. Everybody would stand for the salute of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, has there been any changes to the agenda?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on to presentations, we do have a presentation from Anthony DeSantis. Would you like to?
Good evening, Mayor. My name is Louis Magazoo. I represent Mr. DeSantis and Mr. Farrar. First, let me congratulate all of you for your election to the commission. With respect to Mr. Suey, I will tell the rest of you that it's my view the first term is always the best because everything is new. We actually would request to go in closed session to make our presentation because there is, as you know, litigation. And I know Mr. Barker is here, so you have the ability to have counsel. We have the, as you brief, we have the opportunity to show. Now that would be the first time in my life that someone said I wasn't loud enough to show something every day. We have individuals with us that want to either invest or work in the project. Two of them that have done over $1 billion in construction. We also have the ability to show over $23 million in cash available to move forward, as well as a vision for the property. But we think that it would be best to speak with the commission in closed session about it. It's not really negotiations. There is counsel who's counsel of record, but rather a presentation as was correctly articulated by the mayor. So we would ask for that opportunity. Otherwise, we would do it in open session, but at the regular meeting at 7 o'clock. But we think it's best in closed session.
Can I refer to Brock?
I think it's
Russell?
on the agenda for this work session. That's why we have work sessions, so we can have presentations like this. I don't think we have time for you in the regular meeting, because the regular meeting is when we take care of our business.
All right, let me, then let me, then I assume that, and although we wouldn't probably take more than 15 minutes, I don't have that 5-minute rule then if we do it now, Mayor?
Correct.
It's not 5 minutes, it's a presentation.
presentation.
So you can make a presentation and take as much time as you would like.
Then if I may, thank you. What I would like to do is pass out some documents, which I will identify. I'll give them to Mr. Russell first and ask them to be passed out, if I may. And I'm going to identify these documents first. resume of Chris Berardi. Secondly, second is a resume from, a resume of Mr. Anthony DeLuca. Third is a
You
letter
can't-
from the Broder Law
Interesting
Group.
that the mic's not picking up the sound you can't hear him.
It's not, well, it's on.
Thank you.
Can-
They can't hear it on home either. Can they hear us?
Yeah, ours are working.
We can hear you loud and clear, Lou.
He's not.
We can hear you, but people at home on YouTube can't.
Better? Yes.
Yes,
All
there
right.
we go.
There we go.
Once again, first time in my life it's ever been heard. Those would say, there were those who would love to have muted it in days, but anyway. All right, first is a resume from Chris Berardi. Second is a resume of Mr. Anthony DeLuca. Third is a letter from the Broder Law Group. And fourth is a letter from UBS Financial Services. And I am going to give the bulk of them to Mr. Russell. But I am going to, with your permission, as a courtesy, give Mr. Barker a copy of each. Your eminent defense attorney. And let me, okay, Mr. Russell, if I may, please. Anthony? Could you set up this easel while I'm passing these out? Where's easel back one? And I also have a paper version of.
The whole thing, the whole packet.
I also have a paper
Take
version
the whole thing. Take the whole thing.
of what we're going to show for the television audience.
Thank you.
Now, I'm first going to call Mr. DeLuca up while we're assembling our easel. Mr. DeLuca, would you come up for a second, please? And my purpose, Commissioners, Mayor and Commissioners, is to just give a little background on Mr. DeLuca to amplify on his resume, and certainly he's available for any questions. Mr. DeLuca, if you would just give your name, your business, your experience in your business, type of projects you've worked on, the value of those projects, just as a general reference. They do have your resume.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Anthony DeLuca. I am in the construction industry, development industry, more than 40 years, mostly in the New York metropolitan area and the New Jersey area, Weehawken, Hoboken, and things of that nature. In the 40 years of experience, I did projects as a young boy on the interiors, and through time, I've developed organizations where I had excess of 1,000 employees under my control. I've done some of the largest Manhattan projects, AOL, Time Warner, the Mayflower. I've had the privilege of working with the elite of developers in my industry in New York. Larry Silverstein, the Trump Organization, that might be good for some, might not be good for others. Zeckendorf, the Silversteins, like I said, Mitskoffs, related in companies. And through this period of time, I've maintained relationships with all these people until today, which is unheard of in my industry because, you know, we're big, bad general contractors, so to speak. but that's not the case with us. We are a family-oriented, even though we're not a family business, but we're a family-oriented type of business. We're hands-on. You know, I started with the tools as a young lad, and ironically, I was working with them the other day. So, you know, I could wear a suit and tie, and I could wear a hammer and screw in nails and bang nails, I should say. I'm very interested in my next plateau in life. I'm kind of done with the New York metropolitan area. I'm looking to kind of take it a little bit easier, get out of the concrete jungle, so to speak. And that's what's motivated me to come down to the Melville area. I'm very excited about this project. I just see so many tremendous opportunities out here with the good people like yourselves to support us and give us the push that we need to get this going. Is there any questions you
Can I
guys?
just follow up a couple
Sure.
other things? Most of your projects have been union projects?
Yes,
Okay. You also walked through the site, obviously you've seen the site?
multiple times.
Okay. And what is the general total value of the projects you've done in your career, in your business, or various businesses?
Well, I started with a dream in a station wagon as a young buck, and I've done jobs in excess of $100 million on a single aggregate. We have $250 million worth in bonding capability. So, you know, the spectrum is quite large. It doesn't scare me if it's a $50,000 job or a $500 million job. It's how you approach it, how you man it, how you staff it, and how you treat the people, both that are on the job and the community and the neighbors, give them participation if possible. So that's what we're about. That's what we're about.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
See if the mayor or commissioners have any questions.
Mayor? Commissioners?
Not now, it's like we're gonna get a lot to digest, and
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Can I say you got paid by the Trump Organization? And he got paid by the Trump Organization, which is impressive all by itself. In any event, I'm going to ask Mr. Berardi to come up. Mr. Berardi, same kind of thing. If you just identify yourself, talk about your business. You actually have an interest in investing in this, but talk about the projects that you've worked on in the past and your breadth of experience.
Well, thank you for having me. My background's basically development, a little different than Anthony's. Mine's more demolition, environmental. Currently, I've been in the business of the demolition business, environmental business for about 30 years. Worked on probably any work from $100,000 to $50 million. Done power plants, done them all over the country. Worked in California, Indianapolis. We did a plant in Indianapolis. It was a Roadway plant, about 2 million square feet. Done work in New York. Did the St. George, the ferry, Whitestone Bridge, other projects. And as a development company, I've done multi-families, 150 units, 200 units, CVS's, Walgreens, a lot of them I own myself. This project really interests me because of just the demolition portion, the development side of it. Doesn't look like there's much environmental left to it, but it's a project that really piques my interest, and I hope I get to work with you guys.
I don't know that you said this, the aggregate amount of the projects you worked on and your bonding capacity.
The bonding capacity is $200 million. I've worked, like I said, to high as $50 million in demolition, done $100 million projects. I'm Boston-based. I'm from Boston, but done work in New York, all over New York. Done work in New Jersey years ago.
You also authorized me to get a letter from UBS today regarding available cash on hand, is that correct?
That's correct.
And I'm allowed to share this?
Sure, you are.
Okay. This is all, the commission has this, and you can see the availability of $10 million in cash on hand. Is there any, did you get a chance to look at the property?
I did.
Okay, so you've had the opportunity to walk it and understand?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, terrific. Mayor, Commissioners, I don't know if you have any questions?
Not currently, I don't.
Not yet.
Okay, perfect.
Taking
Just want to give
notes.
the opportunity.
Thank you.
Now, we have a little bit of a, I wanted to be able to share for the audience watching on YouTube. Is there a certain place where I could locate the easel?
Did last week.
I'm going to see where we put it.
I think it's probably.
It would have to be right here. This would probably do it. Right there. Is that okay?
Well, we have your,
It's the same thing
we
in
can
it.
follow
Yeah,
here,
but for-
right?
I'm worried about folks from home.
Yeah.
That's why they're putting it there.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. So, all right. May I?
It comes off.
All right, what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, I'll bring them up here. We're calling this the Millville Refrigeration Warehouse Project. I went the other way. Yeah. Actually, I will start with this. This is a project, and I'm starting from the back, just for this moment, because that's how it's been handed to me.
Wait a minute, this is a little bit different than this, right? So I'm gonna suggest we just go out here and sit
It's
while you're.
backwards, it's right here.
It's the last one,
last one?
Commissioner,
Yes, Vice Mayor, it's back.
Oh, you started
but I
at
want
the
to start
back.
from the beginning.
You can relocate if you want.
Never mind. Well, you know what, I'm going out here and sit so I can see.
This is the, this is, I think, the first one that's on your, if I could just look at your
Correct.
first,
That's correct.
the very first one. I'm going to make sure we're on the same page. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So what we did was we wanted to give a sense of what the project's really going to look like, because one of the concerns of the prior commission, there were several concerns, which I'll speak to. One was there a consistent vision for the project? Was it a vision that made sense for the community? Another concern was not so much the financial capability of the folks involved, but the liquidity, which in addition to the $10 million, I've also produced a document that shows $13.5 million available to the Parat. So it's $23.5 million. That's an important number, and I'll speak to that in a little bit. And the third was, what was the experience, the development experience of Mr. DeSantis and Mr. Parat? As you're going to see in this presentation, we have dealt with all of those issues. The first thing we wanted to do, particularly because it's a new commission, is to spend some time and money to show what the entire site looks like, which is both the 200 G Street site as well as the Wheaton Avenue site, which I believe you know, the Wheaton Avenue site is owned by my clients. You'll also know that, I'm sure you're aware that there was an agreement of sale that was signed between the city of Millville and my clients, which is the subject of litigation right now. The next one, please. No. In order.
That's not the next one.
No. No Vanna White here, that's all I'm going to say. So,
That's not it either.
yep. All right. Yeah, well, I know whatever the guy's name that does it. So, this is another example. The first was an aerial pictorial. This is more of what you would see on a zoning map, just to give a sense of perspective as to where we're located. You'll see 2nd Street, you'll see G Street, you'll see Wheaton Avenue, and this would give a sense of what in effect would be the redevelopment area, less the MVC inspection center. But we wanted to give you a flavor of the location. I'm going to put these down. So the next one, please, Anthony, which is this one. Now, one of the things that's really important is to understand the use, which is refrigeration. Could also be, by the way, dry warehouse as well as wet. I meant to, and I apologize, I'll supplement it. I meant to Google about the need for refrigeration. I happen to know because I represented some very significant refrigeration companies, national companies, one that you might have heard of called Americold, which is one of the largest in the world. They simply cannot get sufficient refrigeration, and curiously, it was COVID-proof and recession-proof as an industry. This site is particularly good for that because of the rail, because of the water, because of the energy, and because of the substation that is on our Wheaton Avenue property. The size and the dimensions of it absolutely require both properties together. Without the capacity to put both properties together, this project simply cannot move forward. With them together, we believe that this will be an exciting project for that area and certainly for Millville. Next, please. Thank you. Again, wanted to give you a sense of the perspective. Imagine all these trucks coming, the employment opportunities, the restaurants that will be visited, and this, we think, presents an extraordinary opportunity at that particular site. And a number of these are just going to be different views of the same. Again, this is part of the modern Art Deco concept, you'll see. But again, just the magnitude of the project because of the acreage. One of the concerns that had been referenced by the prior commission and by the litigation was that in an attempt to maximize the 75 acres, the redevelopment plan was too expansive. One of the benefits of this type of project is you have the capacity to maximize the acreage, but not have so many uses so as to be too expansive for the appetite of the city. One of the things you saw from the very first site is just the need for all the parking that'll be required because of the sign. And by the way, we're talking about roughly 1.5 million square feet of warehousing in that area. And as you're going to see, we're talking about doing it in phases. But that is a lot of jobs requiring a lot of parking, and this site is uniquely situated. By the way, would be probably the largest single use of that site, of that use rather, in the county. Again, just a flavor. Also, you'll see the rail line. We think that is critically important. Again, the uniqueness of the site. Also trying to make it attractive, put some Art Deco applications. Something says we love Millville. May want to change the color scheme to be more like the Thunderbolt color scheme, but certainly something that would be very inviting as people drive down and see the site. This is really an interesting view because it gives you a sense of the scope and the magnitude of it, but also from a different perspective than the one that we showed at the very beginning. Again, just a monster project, significant project, something that would be really a hallmark of this young administration. This is a perspective of what the warehousing would look behind the motor vehicle station. Any more? No, I don't need that. Yeah, oh, that's, okay, yeah. This, I think you saw, whoops, from the very front. Again, showing some Millville pride. Really turning something that is, has been an eyesore for decades into something that's very attractive. Now, like with anything, numbers matter. So, this anticipates phase one of the project. Phase one would be the demolition of the existing old Wheaton plant on 200 G Street, and would be about 150,000 square feet? About 150,000 square feet of phase one. It's estimated to be about $42.5 million as a project, $8.5 million down, and $34 million through investors and banks. And as you'll note, we've already produced proof of $23.5 million available for this project. The estimated time for completion and construction is 24 months. And I'll go back to the site here. I asked, because this is subject to litigation, I made sure that litigation counsel were aware of this. Let me pull that out of the way.
It's okay.
And I just want to read this final statement and then be available for any questions. My clients are represented by separate counsel in litigation regarding 200 G Street. Liz Pendon's lien has been filed against the property, which will not be released until we're able to reach common ground and resolve this matter. The alternative to finding common ground and of no benefit to my clients or the city is that this matter will continue to move through litigation, which I understand is now slated for numerous depositions and further intensive document discovery. While I know my clients are prepared to use every legal means available to stop anyone else from purchasing and/or developing 200 G Street in contravention of their rights under a properly executed purchase and sale agreement, this commission, we would ask this commission to make every effort to resolve this litigation so the time and resources devoted to litigation are better spent on developing the 200 G Street property. This litigation has cost the city tens of thousands of dollars to defend, based on a choice of the prior commission. This is a chance for a new start for Millville under a new commission, which I think is probably the best way for me to close. We could spend a long time debating how we got to where we are. We could spend a long time debating the merits. Some people could be persuaded, some people would not be persuaded. What is undebatable is that this is a new commission that has a new opportunity. That frankly, the voters decided to reject parts of the old commission. And I don't know why they did that, but it's conceivable that there was a desire for the city of Millville residents to have a fresh start, not necessarily on this project, but globally, generally. I'd respectfully suggest, and I know a little bit something about economic development, being involved in the past with the motorsports project, with the empowerment zone, with the UEZ, unfortunately I'm that old, with the Cumberland Mall project, with Union Crossing. I know a little bit about economic development. Roadway and another project that hopefully will be coming to Millville. This presents, we tried to put a package together where in good conscience, this commission could say, although I don't agree with the views of the prior commission, could consider the views of the prior commission and consider their concerns of the scope of the project, the liquidity of the investors, the experience of the developers. Check off those boxes and say those boxes have been checked off to the sufficiency of our judgment. And I really tried to put a presentation together thinking if I was in your seats, what would I be looking for? And although clearly I'm biased because they're my clients, I believe that if I was in your seats, I would be able to vote for this project to move forward, which is the final point. Although we would ask for the opportunity for a conveyance and a redevelopment agreement, we also understand that your fiduciary duty requires you to put strict limits, both in time and obligation, on any redevelopment agreement. We would be looking to work quickly and aggressively, cooperatively, and collegially with the city of Melville. But we can't do that unless the commission allows us to move forward. I hope I didn't take up too much time. I do appreciate the opportunity you gave us. And if anybody has any questions,
certainly I am available to answer them.
Can I ask for a 5-minute recess to consult with council, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we got?
I know what I don't know. I don't know that.
Appreciate it.
The demo would take about 3 months.
3 months?
Yes.
Okay. And the estimated cost of that demo?
Roughly, with the demo, and it depends if you just do the above structures with the, and then you're talking about just the above structures or the slabs and foundations also?
The above.
Just the above, probably roughly around 1.8 million.
That's for the whole,
Just to be clear, Mayor, with all due respect, I think you actually want the answer for the
for,
slabs, too.
Joe, you would know better as the
Yeah, like for
property,
the
like
whole-
for,
Let's say 200 G Street,
200 G Street is referring to.
that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
The area behind the fence.
But the slabs also, I think you want to know to make it all go away, correct or not?
correct. So you can actually start building.
You know, do you know what I'm referring to when I say the batch house? The big tall yellow
The big
structure?
tall yellow structure, yes. I
Right,
do,
and then
yeah.
the part where the smokestacks are, right?
Right, right.
So those two areas there.
How much would it cost?
Yeah,
I'd have to
roughly.
look at my estimate. I could get back to you on that.
Okay.
Do you have a number for the whole 19-acre site that would include the above ground and the slabs?
Yes,
What is that number?
about 4.8 million.
Okay.
Perfect.
And that's what I was concerned, because I didn't want you to be misled. I think
Yeah.
there was a big-
Appreciate it.
And just so you can do my background check on me, my company's JDC Demolition. We're the largest company, 7th largest company in the United States under Engineering News Record. Just to kind of give you some,
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate the answers for that, and I think that, we'll discuss things here. If there's any other questions, we'll make sure that we reach out, and Mr. Russell will be able to, contact who we need to contact. Do you guys have any other questions or concerns?
Just a comment, I want to thank you guys for coming in. Looks good. Of course, we're going to do our homework, and I'm sure we'll be reaching back out to you sooner or later.
And I just want to thank you for the opportunity to make the presentation. I know you got a lot to do as a new administration. We really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Don't mind if we don't stay for the whole meeting.
Oh, yeah, never mind. You almost got me in trouble with it.
It'll be the first time, Commissioner.
First time you got me into it, maybe, but not the first time I've been in it.
Everyone, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey.
No, my hair's always been
We
short.
had a case 100 years ago. It's when I still did personal injury, probably was in the 80s, in front of Steve
Maybe.
Judge, it was settled.
I see.
I can remember it. We talked yesterday. You were a gentleman. You didn't take, I was a younger lawyer, went behind the years.
There it is.
All right.
Mark told me how to track dates. I watched it for 6 weeks.
Nice meeting you.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I don't know if it's good or bad. Thank you.
Take care, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Sir? Yes. Commissioner Romanek, Ben. Ben. Yes. Take care, sir.
No, I got one. It's on my desk.
All right, so we're going to move into the public comment on agenda items only. If anybody has a comment on agenda items, please come to the mic, state your name, your address, and leave your comments to 5 minutes, please. Okay. Seeing nobody, I will close the public comment on agenda items only. We'll go into discussion items. Madam Clerk, do you want to?
Okay, so we have a discussion of public information portion of the city website for easy access to public documents. Vice Mayor, did you want to discuss this?
Yeah, what we discussed is that there's a huge amount of open requests for information that's generally available to the public. So rather than have people have to submit an open request for, say, a contract, eventually we'd like to have all the contracts online, all the salary information online. In essence, all the information possible that is available to the public. Now, this is going to be incremental, of course, and it's going to take some time to do, but hopefully it'll untie the hands of our staff, and it'll make it easier for the public to get the information they need. That's
this-
basically it, if you guys are for that, I mean, you know.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. Obviously, it's gonna be something that, it's gonna take some time with the new website and construction of the website and redoing it. It's a lot of material to be updated and uploaded, but I think it's a great idea for people who, have questions, are able to just pull that information. And like you said, it alleviates the stress and, from the workers being able to pull that information. That's,
And additionally, we get the update on the website for free, because we're
Yeah.
due for that, so that'll make Marcy happy, probably.
Yeah, if I
Make a
may
lot of
add
us happy.
something, the cost, in my opinion, would be well worth it, because the cost in work hours that we spend now, probably Jeannie probably spends 50% of her time dealing with Oprah requests, because there's just so much work that's involved. And so if you were able to put much of that information out there so it's accessible to the public, hopefully it would save staff a lot of man hours.
That is definitely my hope.
And I would be on board with that also. Yeah.
Totally.
Yes.
So I guess we can proceed down that path, right?
yeah, we can, I think
Yes.
that's something when, right, when you and Sam meet with our website designer, we can make sure that's something that we implement and move that forward.
Very good.
All right?
And another thing, if I might add, and I think we already have some of the information on the site, although it may not be, people may not be aware that it's there. But for example, the redevelopment plans that we have that we've already approved, a developer can go on the site and can find that, and they can, in about 2 seconds, can find out what the permitted uses are. So it's just good to put that information out there so people can see it.
Agree. An overall makeover is needed for the website. I think it's important for people to be able to access the website and be able to find what they're looking for, because right now it's not very attractive, and it's, I think, pushing some people away. So I think this is a great idea to add to the remodel. And we want to go on to the next discussion item?
Okay,
Do we-
sure. And that would be South Jersey Regional Animal Shelter. I think you
Yeah,
and
no-
Vice Mayor both asked to have that placed on.
Yeah, this was, do you have the, is this the email?
That's one of the letters, yeah, if you want to just, that you forwarded to me, so.
Okay, so it was, I received an email from Vineland's solicitor. We're looking to send a letter to the Board of County Commissioners. Should I just read this into?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead, read it, that's the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
so, yeah.
Kindly take note that I'm the solicitor for the city of Vineland. I'm writing this on behalf of Mayor Finucci and the city council, and with the concern, of Cumberland County municipalities executing this correspondence. A lot of fancy speaking. As you are aware, all municipalities in the state of New Jersey are tasked with accommodating unwanted and stray animals within their respective jurisdictions. All surrounding counties, including Gloucester, Burlington, Atlantic, and Cape May, to name a few, maintain a county shelter to service all of the municipalities within the county. Only Cumberland has not done so. In the past, most of the county municipalities dealt with a shelter owned and operated by the Society of Prevention and Cruelty to Animals, the SPCA. Due to the numerous problems with the SPCA, an investigation was performed by the State of New Jersey Commission of Investigation. The commission found, quote, the condition of the NJSPCA's finances is so dismissal that even to its own bookkeeper testified that given the totality of expenses, including its legal bills, the organization is effectively bankrupt, unquote. It further called them wannabe cops. More importantly, to report funds that the SPCAs are accountable to not governmental authority. Recently, in 2018, the cruelty enforcement powers were stripped from the SPCA and have now been placed in the hands of the county prosecutor's office, leaving the SPCA with no sheltering authority. In 2018, new litigation was enacted that dissolved the NJSPCA and its several chapters, and the Cumberland County SPCA become the South Jersey Regional Animal Shelter. Unfortunately, despite the change in the name, the shelter remains the same, as there is only one shelter that services all of Cumberland County and now parts of Salem County. The SJRAS can dictate to all municipalities utilizing their shelter their terms to contract and costs payable by all municipalities with no accountability to any governmental authority. Failure to abide by their policies and execute their contract without any types of negotiation results in the SJRAS denying receipts of animals from the municipality. Many times the governing bodies of several municipalities requested that SJRAS meet with them to discuss the contract terms, only to be told there will be no meeting and the contract is a take it or leave it deal. Despite the terms of the contract to the contrary, if a municipality questions a bill, which in some instances have been shown to have been doubled billed, a letter ensues demanding payment or again, a refusal to accept stray or unwanted animals. The SJRAS has the sole determination whether an injured stray dog or cat is euthanized or receives expensive veterinary treatment for a veterinarian of their choosing and the cost of which the municipalities are responsible to pay without question. Do we have the second page of
Well,
that?
I don't know where the second page is.
So in long and short, I guess.
Yeah,
So I'm not quite sure where the other page
Well,
went.
basically, they're asking, I believe, for a letter of support. or
So
whatever.
they're asking for a letter of support that we send to the County Board of Commissioners. That they had wanted, the County Commission wanted to build a jail. If I'm correcting, there's currently a concrete slab that's not being used. So they're asking for a support letter that we would initiate. The county would have their own SPCA, and they're asking for our support. Millville, Vineland, Bridgeton, I think Morris River as well. Mayor Skip, he's also been a part of that. So Lawrence Township. Okay, sorry, excuse me. On that.
To give you some idea, we had Marcy print out how much we contracted for and paid. So in 2015, it was $35,000, and we paid $43,000, some change. 16, 17, same thing, and the prices went up a little over $50,000. 2018, there was a significant jump, as you know, you saw when they were dissolved, to $93,000, and we paid $99,000. 2019, $111,672, and then we paid $116,213. 2020, $138,165. We paid a little less, $134,574. Here's another big jump. 2021, $164,36, and I'm talking thousands of dollars here. And we paid $166,107, and in 2022, it's $187,355. Now, I doubt very seriously if we had a huge increase in the animal population that we took there, but, I mean, I think we ought to send that letter of support. I mean, it's pretty obvious, it's out of control.
Yeah, I think that I think we need to look into it and see if it's something that's possible to do. 'Cause
While
we're only
we're,
going to see increase in.
while we're on this, Vineland and Bridgeton have not moved to pay the bill. Now, I realized that last meeting we did, and we only approved $40,000 on the temporary budget for 2022. I think, and I questioned this when we did this last meeting, I think maybe we should stop. They've got their $40,000 approved, but we need to set back. We need to join Vineland and Bridgeton, Lawrence Township. I believe Marsh River Township contracts with Shore Animal Hospital. They came here with the prior commission, but it's a long haul to get there, I know that. But I think Vineland's pretty spot on. That one of the emails that we all got from Vineland was, this has got to stop. That was Vineland's words.
Yeah, that's from Rick, the
Yes, that
city
was from,
solicitor.
from their solicitor, Rick Tanetta.
Yeah.
And I agree, this does have to stop. And also, in my search and actually trying to find out why we were paying this much money, our bill supposedly is based on population, so we must have had one whale of a population boom just in the past year for the increase that we've had. I think we should just draw a line in the sand right here.
do the letter of intent to join with them, send it and
It's in the county commissioner's
see what kind
hands
of
from that point.
legal ramifications we as a county have, if need be, against what I'll call the SPCA.
I'll, if I, finish.
Yep, that's it.
All right, so they're not gonna get an animal shelter built in a month, 2
No.
months. It's probably gonna take at least a year, right? So in the meantime, we have to have somewhere to take them. They pretty much have us over a barrel. We could enter litigation. We know that costs a fortune. It always does. So I think we ought to just
Pay it this,
pay this, right, and then move on. I mean, everybody agrees it's a ridiculous,
Ridiculous,
amount of
yeah.
money, but I think we don't have any choice but to continue down the course until the new animal shelter gets built.
They have to go somewhere, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're gonna have to
we're
take
bound
It
by
can't be
law.
unfulfilled.
Correct.
Yeah.
correct.
So I think
All right, so we'll just have,
make some very valid points.
Unless we can do something with Vineland and Bridgeton combined and say, okay, it's gonna take this long. Bill us by the month.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know.
That's
That would
probably
be
real.
something the solicitor might be able to.
I think if you think about what Mr. Tenetta said in his letter, that if you want to have something different than what they're offering, which is a year contract, they basically say, no, we're not going to do that. And so either you sign their agreement or you don't have an agreement. And I think that's one of the problems with this.
so we'll move forward, we'll sign it, and we'll get it over to
Yeah,
Vineland and we'll get it to
absolutely.
the city.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll move that to tonight. Okay. All right, perfect. All right, any old business
No, Mayor.
and discussion of the commissioners? Commissioner Romanek?
Nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Hewitt? Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes, I want to just be real quick. I want to refer back to the last meeting. I have a statement I'd like to read, and we'll move on. On February 19th, I made a request to discuss my questions about the proposed Veterans Advisory Board. I left that discussion with the thought that there would be time made to discuss my questions. That did not take place. So I feel it is my responsibility to ask them, on the record, the folks that are bringing forward the board. Let me be clear, no one, including myself, is against the board. I just want to make sure it is done properly. Delaying is not denying. It was important to me to understand the concerns that were presented at the last meeting. I took the time to request a meeting at the Veterans Multi-Service Center located at 616 Landis Avenue in Vineland. That was a 2.5-hour-long meeting with Peter Wine, which started with a tour of the facility. The new facility is a major improvement environment from their previous space. There are more offices to meet privately with veterans and more staff available to help. The greatest benefit I saw was an area to just relax and unwind if necessary. The size of this office seems to be at least 4 times the available space that was available here on High Street at half the cost. I am aware of one confirmed homeless vet here in the city of Melville. With that said, the following are my valid questions and suggestions pertaining to the adoption of the VAB ordinance. Hopefully they will be answered, as my vote on this will depend on the answers presented. Is there a charter, bylaws, or at the very least an example of what the VAB responsibilities are? Saying they are here to help veterans is noble, but how will this board help veterans? What services will this board provide? 2, the requirement that a member of this board have a valid DD 214 could prevent people who would be valuable resources from being on this committee. For example, I would like to see this changed to include immediate family members of veterans. These are small changes that need to be discussed before myself and I feel my fellow commissioners commit to it. Again, no one is against helping veterans. My comments are intended to forward the cause properly. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McQuaid?
My mic on? No. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and the presentation I thought was very educational. Refrigeration is going to be a big industry. Vineland has quite a bit of them, and there's one that used to be Luca Freezers, which is now sold out to Agar, A-R-G. So they employ quite a lot of people. There's probably about 3,000 people that work there, and trucks are in and out. Now, if they do the site, they probably will need, what Vineland had put in, is a truck stop for the trucks that are going to be waiting for their time to load in. So, and sometimes I worked for a refrigeration company, and there were areas for them to park, because they could have like an 8-hour to 16-hour wait, depending on how soon they got to their destination. So that would be a concern for that. Other than that, I think it'd be great. I'd love to see those buildings tore down. They're an eyesore. Looks like a ghost town. And it's disgusting coming in town seeing them. So, and with the veterans, I hope we can work this situation out, because I think it'll be a great opportunity for the veterans and for the city. So with that, Madam President.
Ma'am?
Or Madam Mayor, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor?
Okay, a couple things. First of all, some residents have received letters concerning lead and galvanized pipe replacement. Right now, engineering is working in conjunction with the water department. It's a state mandate. They are looking for funding. They think they found one grant, which was a good thing already today. So I was just informed of this today. I was aware it was coming, but just informed they started working on it. So I hope to have more information, because I know there was a lot of residents that were calling the water department. So hopefully we can get the information by the next meeting, have it available, have the water department and then somebody from engineering at the work session to try to explain that where we're at. The second thing is electric. So there was also an email from the county concerning having a possible build-out of electric utilities throughout the county, so that when businesses came, the electric would be available. They're going before the Board of Public Utilities. We contacted the Board of Public Utilities. We are waiting, I am waiting for an exact copy of that petition, which they promised they would have to me soon. Been a week, so we'll see how soon is.
That's not the one from the county.
Well, it's all related to that. That's from Burton, from our
Oh,
Atlantic
okay.
City Electric
Gotcha.
liaison. So when we get that, we'll see exactly what that petition says. On the surface, it sounds like a great idea. However, when you dig a little more deeply, it really matters, who are they going to build out first? Are they going to build out Bridgeton, Upper Deerfield, Millville? We're in competition with our sister cities for jobs and, construction. So the way it's done now is when a business comes in, then they do the build out. Having it there ahead of time does make some sense, but again, where it matters and how it's paid for matters. So if they're looking at doing a rate increase to all their customers, we could be paying for something that we won't have for a couple of years. So that may not be a good thing. So the devil's always in the details. I'm trying to get you more details so I can find out about that. I'm going to just address it. I'm sure I'll address the veterans things at the meeting a little more. You did meet with Peter Wine. It's been 2 weeks since we had the first hearing. That's certainly enough time for anybody to reach out to anyone that wants to do it. I'm sure that their job or function will evolve over time. You may be aware of one homeless veteran. It doesn't mean that more do not exist. Okay, as you reach out, you will find more and different problems. I'm certainly aware of problems of veterans that don't get benefits because mainly knowing someone that helps them without any other agency, just by themselves, a lot of them just say to heck with it when they get denied the first time and they don't appeal. Now, I've seen this firsthand. So I expect the mission will evolve. It will start as an advisory group advising us, advising the veterans. And as you well know, Kirk, being a veteran, that veterans have a bond with each other that doesn't really exist with the outside world, right? So even with their families, there's a bond there that, it's not really understood by many people that weren't veterans. There are some, and certainly families make great sacrifices as well. But I believe veterans are more likely to talk to veterans. Sometimes when we talk, we have a certain vernacular that's probably not acceptable to the general public.
It is.
A sense of humor that's rather dark, all that kind of stuff. So that's what you need to look out for. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. I think the presentation from Mr. DeSantis was helpful. It's nice to hear, there's businesses that are interested in, coming and clearing up Wheaton's, and I'm excited and looking forward to see if there is something that we can do with the property. It'd be nice to clear that out and get rid of the eyesore. I think the website access for the public documents, I think that will be huge, and I can't wait to see a new website, because it's frustrating that you can't go on and just look and find easy things. You can't even contact people accurately, so I'm looking forward to the change and refreshing that. The animal shelter, I think, will be something that will be a progress and something to look forward to the future, that if we can do that with the county, will be great help with them. Kirk, with the Veterans Board, it's a great idea, right? There's no doubt about that. Like Commissioner Suey said, or Vice Mayor Suey said, that it's going to evolve. It's something that's new. It has to be worked on. No, they're not making any laws. They're not in charge of anything. Obviously, I know Dominic just came in, so I know that he's been in contact with Pete Wine's office, and they're working together. They want to have a clear understanding how the advisory board can help us, how the city can help the veterans, and how the veterans can go to Mr. Wine's office and continue to get those services. And I'm sure, Dominic, you have some answers for us this evening, I'm sure. But just to touch on Vice Mayor's comment is that, my best friend's in the military. She's been through a lot. And there's things that my best friend wasn't able to tell me because I didn't go through that. That bond that they have, they feel comfortable speaking to people who've been in that situation. Like I said, my best friend couldn't tell me something that she tragically went through because I don't understand. And the situation that she went through is a situation that needs to be dealt with. And I'm sure she's not the only one locally that needs the help. And I'm sure she would be willing to help other women in her situation locally. So I think that, again, it's something that's going to evolve. And I look forward to veterans helping veterans, and not just in Millville, but with Vineland and Bridgeton and the surrounding areas. So I think that's all I have. I'm looking forward to just moving on to our meeting tonight. Do we have any new business?
No, Mayor.
Okay, we will move into the public comment portion. If anybody would like to address the commission, please come to the podium, state your name, your address and concerns, and please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes.
Mary Messick here of Millville. My concern is the price that the so-called SPCA wants to charge the city of Millville. Could that possibly be a part of their so-called catch, where they take the stray cats, they'd catch them, fix them, get them vaccinated, and then send them back? I mean, I know there's a lot of them. I know there are cat colonies as well that are being maintained and stuff. But I'm just wondering if that price that they decide they want to charge our city has something to do with the feral cats.
You're talking about the TNVR program, right? Trap Neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's in there, Mary. I have to relook at the contract. I don't recall.
I think, I've read a lot of the correspondence that's going back and forth between the Vineland solicitor and other towns, and I don't think it's one thing. I think it's a lot of different things.
I don't have the, we can look into it, and we can look at the,
I can't remember how I should know that.
They're basically uncontrolled. Nobody
Well,
holds them.
there's people that actually do it, but
No,
I
I
can't
mean,
remember if they do it at the SPCA or if
Right.
people actually pay for it. It's slipped my mind right
Yeah.
now. Okay, so it doesn't have it, so the other stuff. That's why it's costing more money. Okay, so the contract is strictly animal shelter. Yeah, I should have remembered that, but I didn't.
perfect. And
Anybody else?
any other comments, questions? No? All right, I think any closing comments of the commissioners? All right, resolution, we're gonna go into, or I'm gonna close the public comment, excuse me, this portion of the meeting and move into resolutions.
Okay, we have a resolution authorizing a closed session meeting to discuss the following matter: discussion of fire chief contracts under contract negotiations.
Make motion.
Second.
We have a motion second on resolution, item 1. Any comments? Well, we can do comments, it's closed, so do the vote on it first, sorry.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes,
Okay, motion carries.
excuse us. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular session meeting for March 1st, 2022 at 7 p.m. I call this meeting to order. We have roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Here.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Here.
Commissioner Romanek?
Here.
Commissioner McQuaid?
Here.
Mayor Orndorff?
Here. Invite Reverend Murphy, of Millville Church of the Nazarene to deliver the invocation, followed by the salute of the flag.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this day that you've given us, a beautiful day. We thank you for our city and the hope that is ours. We thank you for our leadership and pray your blessing on this meeting. Give us wisdom and guidance and lead us forward by your grace in all things, for we ask it in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being conducted in accordance to the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of the meeting. Madam Clerk, has there been any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, we had 4. We had the addition of consent agenda item number 3, certifying the list of volunteer firefighters who qualified for the LoSAP benefit program for 2021. Resolution item number 3 was added, rescinding Resolution 5-22, which authorized the professional service contract to Brock Russell to serve as municipal attorney, as he is now an employee. Item 3 is the addition of resolution item number 4, approving a letter of support to Grow Equity Ventures for a Class 2 manufacturer license located at 326 South Wade Boulevard. And the 4th addition is resolution item number 5, approving letter of support to Grow Equity Ventures for a Class 1 cultivator license located at 326 South Wade Boulevard.
Thank you. Bills?
Move we pay the bills.
Second.
We have motion and second to pay the bills. Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Commissioner McQuaid?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Minutes? We have to,
Make a motion to approve and dispense with the reading of the following minutes and proceed with the regular order of business. February 1st, regular meeting. February 15th, work session meeting.
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
we have a motion and second to approve the minutes. Roll call.
Okay, so that was Ben Rom, okay. So
Yeah,
Correct.
Ben.
Okay,
Ben
that you guys mixed it
McQuaid.
up on me. All right, Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Commissioner McQuaid?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Public comment on agenda items only. If anybody has a comment on agenda items only, please come to the podium, state your name, address, and your concerns, and leave your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing nobody, we'll close the public comment on agenda items only. Move into old business.
Okay, we have the announcement concerning Executive Order 229 pertaining to service shut-off moratorium, COVID-19 ratepayer relief measures. Apparently, I have to read this for the next 18 months, so I apologize in advance at every meeting. I didn't know that. So please be advised that Executive Order 229, which prohibited a local government from charging interest, late fees, or shutting off water services to a residential customer due to non-payment unless the disconnection is to prevent a risk to public health or safety, is expired January 1st, 2022. Subsequently, the governor signed an order that from January 1st through March 15th of 2022, there will be no interest for residential water sewer bills. After March 15th, 2022, fees and penalties will be charged back to the due date of the bills, and a tax lien sale for delinquent charges will be reinstated. We encourage anyone owing charges for 2021 and prior to contact the utility department for more information on paying your bill or an installment agreement if needed. Thank you.
Okay, and we have petitions and letters.
Okay, I just need a motion to receive and file the following from the New Jersey Motorsports Park, the 2022 event schedule, and the annual disclosure statement ending December 31st, 2021.
Move to receive and file the event schedule and annual disclosure statement.
Second motion.
We have a motion and second to receive the letter. Any comments?
just something that's sent annually by the racetrack and
For their events.
normal routine in accordance with their redevelopment agreement. We checked and it was in accordance with the redevelopment agreement, so.
I believe I got that just today.
Okay.
Roll call?
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
All right, reports of commissioners.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Good evening, all. Let's step back in time for a little bit, folks. On last Saturday, we had our Parade of Champions, February 26th. It was an excellent turnout, I thought, for all Millville citizens and anyone that attended. I know the whole commission attended. It was, I thought, a great celebration of everyone that was in attending of the parade. Lots of fanfare, lots of cheering at the end during the announcements of everything. That went really well. Go back in time on to February 19th when the city of Millville had its 18th annual snowflake plunge. The city of Millville, with its generous donations and contributions, raised over $7,000. Our goal was $5,000.
Wow.
That is fantastic. And what that means is if we continue and have this continue to grow, if we get another $3,000, we can grant another wish to a child in need with New Jersey's Make-A-Wish Foundation. So that was excellent. I went all the way under. I know the mayor walked into like her ankles.
No.
Okay. It was a great turnout. We had a lot of people, maybe close to 100, I'd say. A lot of people went crazy. A lot of people dressed up in costumes. That was a good sign with the city getting involved with. Next, starting today, March 1st, the Melville Recreation Department has a coloring contest for St. Patty's Day. You can visit the Facebook group or stop at 416 South 15th Street and pick up your coloring page. All colorings are due back to the Recreational Department by the 14th of March. There is the annual Easter egg hunt taking place on Saturday, April 9th. This year is going to be the best and biggest ever. My department head, Sam Cruz, is looking so much forward to this. It will start at 11, and the first 100 kids will get a free Polaroid picture with the Easter Bunny, and the hunt will take place at 12 p.m. sharp. And if anybody has any spare or extra plastic eggs, feel free to donate them to 416 South 15th Street. We'd gladly use them. There also will be a Millville Recreational Department has teamed up with the Holly City Development Corporation to hold a youth entrepreneur fair on Saturday, April 23rd. This will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Buck Park. We hope to have approximately 20 kids between the ages of 8 and 17 to participate. For more information, please reach out to Heather at the Holly City Development Corporation. The Valentine's Day Scavenger Hunt, for all those who participated, I thank you. The winners were Elliot Bartholomew and Melissa Peak. Congratulations. The winners of the Winter Photo Contest. Those will be during the March 15th commission meeting. Photos will be displayed at the RRCA at 22 North High Street. Just a reminder that our senior center is open starting on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 to 2. Wanda is a great person. Her son is Mr. Melville. And she provides great lunches for very low price, games and activities every day. So if you're 60 years or older, please stop by and have a good time. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes. In reference to my comments in the work session, I would like to read and put on the record a letter from Peter Wine at the VMC in Vineland, formerly of Millville. Commissioner Hewitt, I want to thank you again for visiting our office. I hope you can appreciate the expansion of services and the new facility we are working out of. Unfortunately, I cannot attend tonight's meeting as we are in the middle of a certification audit so we can continue to provide services for the next 3 years under the Commission for the Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities, a prestigious gold star in the social work community. The Veterans Multi-Service Center stands at the ready to assist the City of Millville with its veterans' needs. 8 years ago, I was requested to bring the VMC to southern New Jersey. While the obvious choice was the city of Millville, rich in not only military but general history, we chose the county of Cumberland to bring these services as a centralized location. I had always wanted to contribute to High Street and help bring it to glory. Unfortunately, missions change. A general will give a command to move its forces to be better effective. That is what the Veterans Administration has done. They requested us closer to the Landis Avenue Clinic to help better support those on site. All is not lost from us. We have moved 7 miles. In that 7 miles, we did not forget where we came from. Our mission, still deeply rooted in southern New Jersey, will always have a special place for the city of Millville. 90% of our employees are residents of Millville. In further support of the city of Millville and extension of friendship and partnership, we have facilitated the donation of a shipment of military sandbags to the city of Millville Office of Emergency Management. While I hope we never need them, they are now here to help protect the citizens and property in Millville. Last week, we were advised by a citizen on social media that there was a homeless veteran at the Wawa on North 2nd Street. We committed a staff member to monitor the Wawa, advise the city police, and local homeless advocates. We have not heard or found this person yet. We will continue to keep an eye open. Our agency still works closely with local homeless coordinator and veteran at large Cindy Cook and Code Blue coordinator Donna Stiles to address needs found at our local soup kitchen and weather shelter. I implore you to speak with them as well in regards to services we provide and the benefit we provide the city. In coordination with the Department of Public Safety, the Veterans Multi-Service Center has and will continue to respond to calls from police dispatch advising of homeless veterans we can service. The fire department EMS will advise us if they have a veteran who needs assistance, and every other department in the city has the ability to report sightings of homeless veterans that we can investigate and assist. Veteran employees of the city of Millville are welcome to take advantage of our veteran service officer, who will help evaluate and apply for benefits. We do not charge for this assistance. This is 100% free service dedicated to serve our nation's most honorable. I also appreciate the idea of a Veterans Advisory Committee. I want to make it clear we are never against something like this. We welcome any and all partnerships that can help forward the veteran cause. I ask that you keep us in mind when you need services for the veterans of Millville, and feel free to reach out to us like you have. That came from Peter Wine, Program Manager at the Veterans Multi-Service Center on Landis Avenue. I just want to give this to you, Madam Clerk, to be on record. And that'll be all.
Thank you.
Commissioner McQuaid?
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Appreciate that. And we have a report here from Streets and Roads. We have 180 potholes that were filled. So looking to see if there's any more out there. So if anybody so happens to find one, please give us a call at Streets and Roads. We have 258 street sweeping tickets that were given out. We also had 37 curbside violations and 34 tire collections. And my favorite, we have 385 electronic waste and 400 tons of loose leaves were collected. And 1,230 bags of loose leaves were also collected. That's, oh, okay, they collect the loose leaves, all right. Roads were graded completion in Laurel Lake, and streets and roads will be collecting brush by March 7th. They're going to do a one pass down your street, so make sure you have everything out because once they go through, they're not coming back. So that's the end of our report for that. And if anybody has any needs or anything that will bring to my attention, please call me or give me an email. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Madam President. I want to say Madam President, I'm sorry. I do have one more thing to say, though. I'd like to say congratulations to Officer Cott on his new seat with the school board.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Yes, a couple things, just to give you some updates but before an update, engineering has been inspecting some ongoing developments to make sure that the contractors are in compliance with their infrastructure that they need to build, including the wastewater lines, the stormwater runoff lines. It's very important. As you know, some housing developments have had problems with that, where perhaps not as much diligence was done as should have been done before. Second, we had moved into the design phase of the lift station for the wastewater at Ireland Avenue. We went from the analytical stage, determine flow rates, et cetera, and now the CME is going to do the designing of that. So hopefully we'll commence construction on that pretty soon. And as for the rescue squad building, right now they're working on the asbestos abatement and bidding that out separate so that we can get that demolition started. Other than that, I'd like to receive and file the tax collector's annual report for the calendar year 2021.
Second motion.
A motion and a second to receive and file tax collector's annual report. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Commissioner McQuaid?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
So reports from Public Affairs Office. Our CDBG public meeting will be held Wednesday, March 9th at 5 p.m. I want to apologize for the confusion from last meeting. Unfortunately, we had to reschedule that. You should have gotten emails from Bill Davis, and Mary, you did receive your email from me. Okay, perfect. If anybody has questions in regards to that, please feel free to reach out to myself and or Bill. We'll be able to get you some information. I would like to welcome Crystal. We do have a new Planning and Zoning Board Secretary. So excited to have somebody on the floor. And we also do have a new city planner, Barbara Feigley. She is a Senior Vice President of Environmental Resolutions. She has over 40 years of experience. I'm excited to working with her. So just new staff means new, fresh ideas. The rental assistance program will be back in operation next week. We do apologize for any delays in that. And there's just some really exciting things in the works, and we cannot wait to announce them. A lot of good stuff coming to Millville. We're really excited to be able to share those. From the mayor's office, I would like to just kind of touch base on what Commissioner Romanek said. The Snowflake Plunge raised over $7,000, and like he said, our goal was to reach $5,000 just to be able to grant a wish, and I thought that was a little steep. So when we reached the $7,000, it brought me to tears, and I cannot thank everybody enough for that. I want to thank Mr. X, possibly Rob Shannon, I'm told, for all of his work that he does for his fundraising throughout the city. The Fraternal Order of Eagles, I know that after the event, they were still raising money after we got in the water, so I wanted to thank them so much for their involvement. Make-A-Wish New Jersey, we have direct ties to them, so they really played a big role in sharing our event on social media, making sure that we got promotional items for Make-A-Wish to give to everybody who made donations, and they are definitely looking forward to working with Millville to be able to grant the wish. So we'll keep everybody posted on that as that comes down the line. I want to thank Millville and Down Township for their fire and rescue and EMS for being on site. Shepherd Bus, Chris McCarran, she was in her lovely baby shark costume for the warm bus to get on. Lastly, my daughter Bridget would like to thank everybody for their donations for Make-A-Wish. It was pretty cool to have a wish kid at an event. We tried to get Make-A-Wish people there, but unfortunately with COVID up in North Jersey, there's certain things they're unable to attend. But Bridget asked Sam Cruz the day of the event, did we meet our goal? Did we meet our goal? And Sam was a little hesitant, but she could at least say we've reached the 5,000. So she told Bridget that we were going to be able to grant a wish, and Bridget just jumped for joy. It brought me to tears because I know my daughter's a wish kid. And now she'll be able to see our community be able to grant that wish to another child and know what we were able to do. That wish that she was granted changed her life forever and our family. So to know as a wish family what we're going to be able to do for another family, it just warms my heart. So I'm so excited to be a part of that and our community to be a part of that, and look forward to sharing all of that with you. So from the bottom of Bridget's heart, thank you so much. The Parade of Champions was a great experience. Saturday was a great day to be a Thunderbolt. Everybody was out wearing their orange and blue. Thank you to everybody who shared the event on social media, because that is what made the event successful. And I want to thank everybody for supporting our local champions. It was such a great turnout. It was exciting to see everybody out there. I want to thank everybody who made the parade possible. I know Sam Cruz and the Parks and Recreation team worked really hard. I want to give a huge shout out to Sergeant Sotero. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have had officers blocking the streets and had the parade shut down. So we thank her for all her work. And most of all, I really want to thank the champions for all their hard work and their dedication to what they do. Keep up the good work. So that's all I have.
Madam President, I have a question to ask you. Can,
Madam President.
our Madam President,
I'm
Mayor.
sorry. Oh, my God.
She is actually
Excuse
the
me, I'm
president
sorry.
of
I'm
the
used
board.
to-
Go on, tell her, I think.
I'm used to the school board, apologize. Mayor, can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Are we still able to donate if people still want to donate to Make-A-Wish? Can we still do
yes,
that?
the link is still opened. The link is open until we tell Make-A-Wish to close the link. So if there's anybody that wants to contribute, like Commissioner Romanek said, if we raise another additional $3,000, there's an opportunity to grant 2 wishes, or 1 large wish. Whatever we so choose, we'll be able to do. But yes, the link is
Okay.
still active.
Thank you.
If anybody needs that link, reach out to us. We're happy to provide that. But moving on, we'll go to ordinances under the second reading.
Okay, item 1 is an ordinance approving and authorizing an application to the Cumberland County Roadway Department for the Millville Soccer Association to hold a coin drop on April 9th, 2022 and April 10th, 2022 at the intersections of Buckshootum Road and Cedarville Road.
I approve of this ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion, a second on the second ordinance, on the second reading, item number 1. We have a public hearing on this. So if anybody would like to come to the podium, make a comment, please do so. Seeing nobody, I will close the public comment for this ordinance. Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stewie?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Commissioner McQuaid?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is an ordinance amending the City of Millville Municipal Code, Chapter 2, Administration, adding Article 24, Veterans Advisory Board.
Move the ordinance on second reading.
Second the ordinance.
We have a motion, a second. We'll open to public hearing on ordinance number 2 on the second reading. If anybody has any comments, please come to the podium, state your name and your comments.
Good evening. Good evening. Dominic Francesco, 505 West Buckshootum. I kind of want to, I feel like I've been up here multiple times now at this point. As far as this advisory board, I want to try to clear up some questions that might come from, whether it be the commission or even from the citizens. I myself spoke with via social media, but Mr. Wine, and he also made it very clear on February 16th on social media that he does not oppose this advisory board. So, and that, you know, basically don't forget him, which I assured him that was not the case in any part of this. First and foremost, Millville, and I've been learning the history of this town since I've lived here. I mean, 1941, I believe, is when, you know, this was the first America Air Base. So it already started, the history of military is very strong in this city, okay? So the fact that you have your VFW, you have your American Legions, and now we're asking to put this advisory board out there, and take a look at the word advisory. There's no laws, there's no rules, it's an advisory board. It is a board that, as we, the group of people that will be on that board, see something, hear something, know something, we can pass it along to all of you. In the meantime, all we do is help direct the veteran, no matter what the question may be. We're not there to give them legal advice. We're not there to tell them how to do any of this stuff, that we are not qualified for that. I'm qualified to be on that board myself because I've run that same board in Mays Landing. I've said this before. I've done that board. I know what it takes to be on that board. I know the questions that have come to me. It is always a public forum at those meetings. People can come and they can talk and they can raise their questions. And then when they have a question on how to do something, I go to the appropriate person. And Mr. Wine is one who will absolutely get the questions. Listen, my wife, it's no secret my wife was a veteran. I am a veteran. Yes, I may still be currently serving, 24 years proudly at the 177, but I'm a veteran. I have 5 deployments under my belt. I've been in the Army. I'm currently in the Air Force. I have over almost a dozen or more of different missions throughout the whole United States. So I know what it takes to talk to a veteran, okay? My wife, who is now a disabled veteran, is dealing with the Vineland Center itself and is dealing with VSOs. Different VSOs that actually are in Mr. Wine's center. However, it doesn't mean that the laundry list of things he has for a veteran will not benefit the Millville VAB, because it will. I would like to see, if this VAB is passed, I would like to see a member of the VFW and the American Legions get on this board, because I think it's important for all of the organizations to help any veteran in this town, period. Whether it's one or more. And you cannot forget the veterans. And in too many, and especially right now, if you turn around and put on the news, the military is back up in front of the news again. You know, and I get probably 24 questions every single day about how I feel and what's happened and the veterans, and that's the point of why I want this board. Because I think right now, with Mr. Wine's center down in Vineland, there's really nothing else here besides the VFW and the American Legion. So there's no reason why, if you have a board, that should be veterans, by the way, not families. And it's nothing against the families, but I can tell you this right now. For all the years that I have been serving, my family supports me, but they don't know me. They don't know that brotherhood that is part of that, being into the service, because I can try to explain until I'm blue in the face. People do not understand unless you have served with the people you fight with nonstop or spend 6 months in the desert getting pelted with sand and everything else. No one can understand it. So when it comes to getting an information to a veteran, the family members, they love and support them, but they don't understand it. And that's just the unfortunate part of it. Even my wife now, who's no longer in the service, she's not with me at the base. So she's been kind of taken back a little bit, and she's a veteran herself. So I asked this board to please make sure that this goes through, and I hope the public understands. Let me reiterate this. There is no rules. We're going to start this from the ground up. We're going to build this to make sure that the veterans are taken care of and that all organizations are going to be a part of this. This is not going to be this is it, this is the rules, it's done deal. Nobody's being directed to anything that's going to be unsafe. We are not qualified for that. So, again, I'm always open. People, in fact, my social media has already been kind of blowing up. I am more than willing to answer any questions. Do I feel confident that this board will do the best for the veterans? Absolutely, 100%. And I feel, and I put out there to anybody who is a veteran who wants to help, don't stand by and look and complain. Jump on the board and help. I think that's the way it should be. So again, I hope this goes through, and thank you.
Thank you.
Cindy Cook, Millville. I have been involved with the military since 1949. I was born in a military hospital. My father was military all my life. I married a Marine who was served 2 tours in Vietnam. My daughter was born in a military hospital. I then served with the 561st Military Police Unit in Fort Myer, Virginia. I, too, am a veteran. I have worked with the veterans here in Millville now for about 8 years. I have worked with celebrating our veterans when they were located on High Street with Derek Glenn. I helped build ramps for disabled veterans. I worked with the homeless veterans. I am the one that contacted Peter Wine when we found out that there was a homeless veteran near Wawa. I have multiple people now looking for that gentleman so we can help him. We do not have that big of a homeless veteran population here in Millville. That is because as soon as we find one, we contact Peter Wine. We get them off the streets as soon as possible. We do everything we can. I know I and some other individuals have personally kept a lot of veterans from becoming homeless because when they contacted us, they were in a situation where their money, they had no cell phone to make the calls, their money was messed up because of COVID, and we got it squared away by contacting the different organizations needed. I have worked with the homeless veterans with M25 and Code Blue. This is not new to me at all. I know most of the individuals in need here in Millville that have needed assistance at one time or another. Peter Wine is an invaluable source. I'm almost weekly in touch with him. I would encourage anybody listening, if you are a veteran, make sure you have a copy of your DD-214. If you do not have it, contact Peter Wine and get it. It's not just important for you, but it's important for your family to have that, especially in times if there's a funeral or another situation that develops. Because with that DD-214, you've got benefits. Widows that are whose husband served in the wars, they're entitled to a tax break here in Millville, even as a widow. So you must have that DD-214. Now, I also encourage anybody that gets their DD-214 to go down to our city clerk in Bridgeton. You file your copy of your DD-214 down there, it becomes a permanent record. They have it on file. With that, you get your veteran's identification card. You don't have to then carry your DD-214 everywhere with you. You have this nice little piece of paper you carry. You can use this to get your veteran status put on your driver's license also.
Cindy,
I encourage everybody to take this advisory board in consideration, and if you need anything at all, we know the people to contact. And like I said, Peter Wine has been an invaluable source to our veterans.
Hey, Cindy,
Cindy?
to
Cindy-
clarify, it's the county clerk, right? Not the city clerk?
Oh, that's
provision,
the
right?
county clerk
Thank
in
you. I just wanna
Bridgeton.
clarify.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
That's okay.
Cindy, you mentioned get a hold of Peter Wine. How can they get in contact with that person?
Yes,
Is there
I
a phone
have
number,
that
an
written
email?
down. I have that written down. He's at 616 East Landis Avenue in Vineland now. The phone number there is 856-293-7321. And like I said, I've worked, and his organization has even brought food from Fort McGuire to Care and Share Meals and Code Blue from Fort McGuire and Fort Dix. They've brought food over during this COVID season.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Cindy.
Kevin Asselta, Millville. I actually have no problems with the board, but in the ordinance 2-84, Section C, not necessarily for this city commission board or for the advisory that's coming on now, but just for clarity in future years, because an ordinance is there, it's there for a long time. In that it states, the board shall have no authority to expenditures of any funds, blah, blah, blah. And it says that 2 times, basically, I think there should be a clarification of what board, because in the following sentence, it says the Board of Commissioners. So I think in Section C, we might want to clarify that the Veteran Advisory Board in Section C be put in both places where we're saying no monies and no authorities. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Good evening, Commissioners. Angeline Broomhall, Millville. I'm a daughter of a man who was plucked from his home at 19 years old and dropped in the middle of a jungle and had chemicals sprayed on him and sent home to die. The thought of helping our veterans is not lost on me. So please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Our veterans need help, but what I'm not understanding is the point of how this Veterans Advisory Board is going to help. That answer has not been given. Is it a support group? Because that's not a Veterans Advisory Board. Being able to speak to each other is, if that's the purpose, then you need a Veterans Support Group in Millville, I would assume. What ways are they not being taken care of when the referral is going to be to Code Blue or to the veterans, to Pete Wine in Vineland? What ways are we not? What is it that they're going to advise you of, other than saying, call M25, call Pete Wine? I'm not really seeing what exactly in this ordinance is going to help our veterans. Being a daughter of a veteran, I think it's important because there were times when my father couldn't advocate for himself. And if we're leaving it where they always have to advocate for themselves without allowing the families to participate, it causes a lot of problems. It causes problems when our veterans can't speak for themselves. But again, the most important, it really is, I'm not seeing what the purpose is. What is it that we're not already doing? And if you can't verbalize that, if you can't explain that, then you can't create a board that has no power, that you're admitting has no power. But you're still not telling us, been the question that's been going on for weeks. How? How? What is the purpose? Please explain to me the purpose. And if all 5 of you, or individually, cannot express what the purpose is, then I encourage you to find another way to help. Because that would truly be more helpful, is to already have the people at the table who are already helping our veterans, and then the people who want to help our veterans all come together and then come up with a plan. And please be able to, before you vote, explain exactly how this will help our veterans. Please, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing nobody else, I will close the public comment on ordinance number 2 on the second reading. Comments of commissioners?
Yes. Don, can I ask your rank?
Tax sergeant. E6.
Thank you. It's the board that this hopefully will be to become. I don't find any negatives that it will have. It's what Dominic has said. It's an advisory board to that, in that extent. The establishment, and I quote from the ordinance, there shall be in this chapter hereby established within the city of Millville, Cumberland County, Veterans Advisory Board shall serve as an here advisory. That's it. It's going to be a group of veterans helping other veterans, helping the services that are here already established and available. it's something that is new. I don't think it's gonna hurt to not have. Is it good to have? Yes. Is it hurting? No. I want it to be veterans and veterans only. There's lingo, there's words, there's ideas that veterans have and veterans only want to know about, especially the wording. There's veterans in our Melville Police Department. There's veterans everywhere. Those guys and everybody that's on the board or will be on the board will all be able to communicate one another, advising. It must be veterans, and that's all I would want, is veterans only. Thank you.
It seems like this is like a whirlwind. It just keeps going around and around. Is there a way that we possibly could put an advisory committee together to go over this? I know it's a no-brainer, but
What
I
an
just-
advisory
you
for
want an
committee for
advisory
the
committee on the
advisory
Yeah,
committee.
well, just to talk over with the issues that the problems are, just that what people are bringing up. So like, you know.
I think what you're asking for is like a charter study.
Well, yeah, basically.
Agree. Go ahead, Bob. Finish.
Just to get the pros and cons out so we can, and everybody's concerned. I think it's a great opportunity for the veterans, but I see the citizens are having issues, and we're here to resolve those issues. So if we could do that, I think it might put some of these pros and cons away so we can move forward with this advisory board with the veterans.
Do you have something you wanted to say?
Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I'll add to that. I don't know how much clearer I can make it. I am a veteran. Cindy, I carry the same card you carry, along with my veteran's medical card, everything. My glasses came from the VA. My dentures came from the VA. Dominic, we talked a little bit about the polar plunge earlier. Did we speak to polar plunge? Do you remember me asking you something? I asked you if we can get together before this meeting. You said we would. We didn't. Right?
I have to do it a life. I work. I'm full-time military.
I understand, but I'm available all the time, and you know how to get a hold of me. I'm not against this in any way. I am against this hurrying. I'm against it being hurried. Now, I asked if we can have family members of a vet that has a problem be part of this board. And Dominic, believe me, I'm not trying to take you. You're the forefront of this, so I'm sorry I gotta speak to you. You do not have a DD 214.
That's incorrect.
Do you have a DD 214?
I have 5 deployments under my belt.
Are you still active duty? Are you discharged, and do you have a DD 214?
Once again, I have a DD 214. I am a veteran. I have on my driver's license, and I provided for the record, it says veteran on my driver's license right now.
Okay. Like I say, I don't want to argue. I don't want to be the bad person here. I have the same question Commissioner McQuaid has. Not why. I understand why. How? This is what I wanted to talk to you 10 days about, about. But we didn't. 10 days is a pretty long time. I have nothing against this. I'm saying, and I think Commissioner McQuaid is saying, slow this down. Come forward with, show us what you're going to do. Give us a plan. Did you truly speak with Peter Wine? Did you get the chance to go see him? Okay, on social media. And again, I am not against any veteran. The VA does a lot for me. Is this going to be a social media board? And with that, I'll end there.
All right, I have comments, but I'm going to try to put something in a logical order here. First of all, you were discharged from the Army before you joined the Air Force. That's pretty obvious. You got a DD Form 214 when that happened. Second of all, Mr. Wine is not against it with his organization. I see nobody that gave a very good reason for being against it. It's an advisory board. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Advisory board, to advise. Next, worst case scenario, your mission fails. You advise no one. Nothing happens. Very rarely do we sit up here and get the opportunity to do something that doesn't cost the taxpayers any money and has a potentially very, very good effect. Now, I heard slow down, and it's funny. I heard before when I used to have this quote, "It's the nature of the beast," and somebody hated that. Now, what's the reason to slow down? To form an advisory board on the advisory board. That makes absolutely no sense to me, none whatsoever. So I can find no compelling reason not to do this. If I could, I would say don't do it, but there's no compelling reason not to do it. The mission will evolve like all missions do. Like Mr. Wine stated in his letter, what is the mission today? To advise veterans, to advise us. So if that mission changes to different ways to advise us, if it results in another organization growing that can provide direct assistance to veterans, great. You know what? It's about, Mr. Wine does a great job. I'm sure we're going to send him people, right? You're going to send him people. Other people do great jobs in other areas. We'll send them there. So, you know what? You already have one homeless veteran that you know about that you can't find. Well, what happens if they decide to go look for him and they find him? Is that so bad? I don't think that's bad. And if there's one, I'm pretty sure there's more. We have a couple homeless colonies around here that we can't seem to get rid of, right? We can't seem to find homes for them. You know, there's plenty of problems, and Mr. Wine's taking care of the whole county. How much work do you expect one organization to do? I mean, really, what's wrong with having another organization advising people on where to go? Could we have done this probably without an ordinance? Probably could have just said, okay, go have one, what do we care? But I care, and I hope you guys care too. So I support the ordinance. You guys do what you want. That's all I got.
Where do I start? I will say I think it's really sad that we're arguing about something in our community that will help our veterans. I believe that we have a veteran and many others that would like to help. This isn't just for the homeless. This is for somebody like Dominic's wife, who maybe didn't know about Pete Wine's organization. She didn't. Had no clue that they even existed on High Street in Millville. She's a veteran. She did 13 years in the military. Had no clue. She had to do her own research to find out through the VA all her services that were available to her and did all the research. She had nobody to advise her who to reach out to and help her get services for her mental health and everything she went through. That's all this advisory board can help. They can help. The purpose is to help, to guide, to support, to be there, to listen, to understand. I don't understand why there's such a negative pushback. It will evolve. That's how something starts. I support this Veterans Advisory Board. And Dominic, I appreciate everything that you're offering to do, and I'm sure there's plenty of other veterans that will be able to help advise you, and I'm sure there's things that veterans that you may not know that will bring it into your advice and be able to guide many other people. I keep using your wife as an example because I know what she's gone through and it would have been appreciative of an advisory board. So thank you. And I thank everybody who joins that advisory board in the future.
I just want to say something, Madam Mayor. I'm not against it. I'm for it. But I see that so many people are arguing about and have worries about it. So that was what my problem was just about the advisory board. So yes, I think this is a great opportunity. So don't get me wrong and think that I'm against it, okay? I'm for it. But I was looking at all the people coming up and having a problem. So I just thought maybe if we talked it over, but I'm 100% for it. So that was just bringing up a comment for people who were against it. And I wanted to find the reason why and what the pros and cons were. So don't take it in the wrong comment that I made.
I think if I could just make one other comment about just having just veterans. There was a comment about veterans are vulnerable. Not all veterans are vulnerable. Not all are disabled veterans. They're completely capable of helping each other. Anything else?
No, we just go to the roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Hewitt.
Yes, with the caveat that I will be watching this.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek.
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen.
Yes?
Mayor Orndorff.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
We'll go move to ordinance under the first reading, please.
Okay, we have one, which is an ordinance amending the salary ordinance of the compensation for the following existing administration title. That's the Deputy Municipal Court with a minimum of $25,000 a year and a maximum of $59,009.80.
Move the resolution on first reading with the second reading to be on March 15th, is that correct?
Yes.
Hey.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, on ordinance number 1. Any comments?
Yes, this is a lowering of the maximum salary. Over time, our salaries tend to get higher because of raises and increments, and so when we get a chance, we bring them back down into reality level.
Thank you.
And the reason this is being lowered is this position is open right now because the deputy clerk has left. So this is the time to go ahead and do this.
Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek.
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen.
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Consent agenda items only.
Okay, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and uncontroversial by the Board of Commissioners and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a governing body member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item 1 is a resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal liens for certain properties due to expenses incurred by the City of Millville relating to board and secure plus administrative fees in accordance with Chapter 11, Article 6 of the Municipal Code. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing adjustments in the tax and utility records. Item 3 is a resolution certifying the list of volunteer firefighters who have qualified for the Length of Service Award Program, LOSAP, benefits for the year 2021. And I just need a motion for these items.
Make a motion.
Second?
I have a motion, a second, to approve the agenda items. Comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolutions?
All right, item 1 is a resolution appointing Barbara J. Fagley of Environmental Resolutions Incorporated for planning services pursuant to a non-fair and open process in the amount not to exceed $110,000 for a one-year term from March 1st, 2022 to February 28th, 2023.
I move the resolution and have certification of funds in the amount of $91,666, signed by Marcellus Shepard, our Chief Financial Officer.
Second motion.
We have first and second on resolution item number 1. Any comments?
Yes, I'll just explain the resolution of funds being in a lesser amount than the contract because obviously we are already into the year, so we only do it for the fiscal year that we're in, and that's what it adds up to for the remainder of the year.
Thank you. Again, I'm very, very excited to have Barbara joining our city. Barbara comes with a lot of experience under her belt, over 40 years. She's the Senior Vice President of Environmental Resolutions. She's excited to come work with us. She comes very highly recommended, and I cannot wait to work with her. So I'm very, very excited about that.
One more comment there, when you get a chance, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say it's another key position that we needed to fill, and now it's going to be filled, and that's going to be a big help moving forward. So all the plans that need to go through her and come to fruition. Now another key person is in place.
Okay. So I do want to thank everybody that helped bring Barbara on board. I know that I asked to find somebody, and we went and we found somebody, and she's going to be a great asset to the city. So we go to roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Hewitt,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui,
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek,
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen,
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution to increase the 2022 temporary budget appropriations.
Motion?
Second the motion.
I have a motion, a second on item number 2. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui,
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek,
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen,
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3 is a resolution rescinding Resolution 5-2022 adopted on January 6, 2022, authorizing a professional services contract appointing Brock D. Russell LLC to serve as municipal attorney.
Move the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion, a second on resolution number 3. Any comments? Mr. Russell, you're a great asset, and we appreciate being here. You've been a huge help. Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui,
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek,
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen,
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution approving letter of support between the City of Millville and Grow Equity Ventures for Class 2 manufacturer license facility and the purchase and redevelopment of the privately owned property on 326 South Wade Boulevard, known as Block 489, Lot 8.01.
Move through the motion of resolution item 4.
Second.
I have a motion, a second on item number 4. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui,
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek,
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen,
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5 is a resolution approving letter of support between the City of Millville and Grow Equity Ventures for Class 1 cultivator license facility and the purchase and redevelopment of the privately owned property on 326 South Wade Boulevard, known as Block 489, Lot 8.01.
Move the motion.
Second.
I have a motion, a second on resolution number 5. Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Hewitt,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui,
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek,
Yes.
Commissioner McQueen,
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff.
Yes.
Motion carries.
New business?
We have none.
Okay. We have now reached the public comment portion of our meeting. Anyone who would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address and your concerns. Please limit your comments to approximately 5 minutes.
Yes, Cindy Cook. As I stated before, not only was I a veteran, but I was raised by a veteran. I did not say my father, I was military almost my entire life. My father served World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. My first husband served 2 tours in Vietnam. My second husband was a Korean War veteran. So I'm well aware of all aspects and branches of the service. So I just wanted to point that out. Second of all, I would like to thank Commissioner McQuaid. I did reach out to him on social media on a couple posts and tagged him, and within a day or 2, the potholes were filled.
You're welcome.
So I do want to let him know that I did contact him, and I did send him a message on Facebook saying, "Thank you, you done good, guy." Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Jonathan Murky, Churchill Drive. I just want to thank you for an amazing, positive Saturday experience, supporting our young people. They need to be encouraged, and they are outstanding, so thank you. I'm glad you were all there, and I'm glad our city showed them how much we value them, so thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Sutherland, 51 Dorset Avenue. Here as the coordinator of the Millville Municipal Alliance Committee, and everything's working okay with us right now. Things are moving along with ball teams and with PAL. And now, just as me, I'd like to thank you for approving the advisory committee, because yeah, I'm a non-vet, and I've been fortunate. I haven't had to use any veteran services since I got out. But the day might come, 'cause I'm getting a little older, that I might need some of them, and I have absolutely no idea where to go, because it's not something I've ever considered using. I've been fortunate as far as, health insurance and jobs and stuff where I haven't needed that. But I'm sure I'll be looking you up one day, young man. Thank yous for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Angeline Broomhall, Millville. When you guys ran, especially you, Mayor, you said you wanted the public input. And if anything got made clear tonight was that the public input doesn't mean a whole lot. Input into something that would make it better was considered and twisted and manipulated into a problem. A concern was made a problem. Arguing, I didn't hear anyone argue. I didn't hear a single person say they were opposed to helping veterans or this Veterans Advisory Board. But that's what you said we were doing, Mayor, that we were arguing. Now I am arguing. Now I am debating. Of all the years I've sat and stood at this podium, emailed letters, no one has ever insulted me as much as you have tonight. I would never be opposed to helping our veterans in any way, shape, or form. And I hope that when you choose the 7 board members, that you choose very carefully and you have somebody who maybe doesn't work full-time and doesn't have time to respond to our commissioner or time to reach out to Pete Wine. That the 7 people you choose to be on this board that you really can't say is anything more than a support group at this point, that they have time to sit with Pete Wine. They have time to sit with Cindy Cook. They have time to sit with the people that run the homeless shelter out on Mays Landing Road and to really find out what services are out there. Because I am not opposed, and no one has stood at this podium that I've heard say anything against creating a Veteran Advisory Board. It seems that you don't want to hear it, and you feel that questioning you is a problem. And that is exactly everything what you said you weren't going to do. You encourage the public to come, but when they come, we're arguing. When we want input, it's not input, it's a problem. And Mr. Sue, if you have something to say, please participate, because your little notes back and forth don't go unnoticed either.
Well, I'm glad you noticed. Thank you.
I did notice, and I think it's rude and disrespectful that you pass notes like 3rd graders.
Good evening, Commissioners. I hope you're having a wonderful night. You had a marvelous weekend. I'd like to start off, Mr. McQuaid.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner McQuaid, I'm sorry. First of all, I'd like to thank you for listening to the public. I think the public really wanted to make sure this was done correctly the first time, unlike other city ordinances that we've changed numerous times. I appreciate that you're listening to the public.
Thank you.
Second, I sent an email Monday, 11:32, it went to 2 commissioners, 11:33, it went to 3 commissioners, 2 other commissioners, and 11:34, it went to another one. I did this on my lunch break at work. We want to talk about open. You want to hear about public input. I even copied Mr. Russell and our city clerk on them. I didn't get any answers to the questions I asked, either a reply back saying, you even received my email. But yet, you want public input, you want people to come to the meetings. To sit there and say we're arguing about something, it's not arguing. Myself, my father right there is a veteran. I want to make sure that this advisory board is done correctly. Did any of you research other advisory boards in the state of New Jersey? Did you look at the link I sent you for the city of Camden and what their advisory board does? Their advisory board is actually more involved in the community advisory board. And that's the thing. To sit here and say we're arguing or we're against veterans, we're not. We want to make sure this is done correctly for our veterans. And if you don't understand where we're coming from, then maybe you can reach out to us. I sent probably about 13 questions that I asked at the last work session that none of you has answered. None of you. But you all took notes, or act like you're taking notes. I'm a resident. I want to make sure this is done right for our veterans. We're going to rush this, and then we're going to come back in another 6 months, and we're going to have to change it, and keep changing it. I mean, my questions weren't hard, and I thought my email was pretty easy. And I'm just very disappointed that you guys are talking about, especially a couple of you, we want public input. Well, I sent you an email. My wife sent you an email, and 2 of you got back. And that was you, Commissioner McQuaid, and Commissioner Hewitt, about the Veterans Advisory Boards and her issues with it, and the problems that she can see down the road. It's very disappointing. It's very disappointing to get snubbed by a city commission that's elected for the people, but don't want to listen to the people. And it's ridiculous. And I know probably some of you ain't listening to me anyway, which I can tell who's listening and who's not. But I'll be the first one up here when we have to change this ordinance to add more stuff into it or to take stuff out of it, to be like, well, maybe we shouldn't have rushed, and maybe we should listen to Commissioner McQuaid, and sat on it and discussed it and took more public input. You can't go by one veteran's experience. My father's a Vietnam vet, 70 years old. Why didn't anybody go to him? Why didn't we get other veterans to sit here on a committee? Why didn't we form a committee? It was a rush job. I'm sure if you asked him, hey, Don, we're thinking about doing a veteran advisory board. Would you be on a study with us? Or reach out to the VFW members or the American Legion members. And it's a big rush. And that's what I don't understand. But what really aggravates me the most, you want public input, we give it, we don't get no response. You want your courtesy, but I want my courtesy. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. That was very educational. And I did get your email, and it was very informative, so that's why I said what I said.
Hello again, Dominic Francesco. Well, first of all, thank you for approving it. Let's start there, to all of you. And look, it is a, so I'm gonna go off my experience real quick, because I have the experience. The board in Mays Landing, it's not Millville. Quick, we're gonna make our own board. But the advisory board in Mays Landing, just so you were aware, so that everybody up here can understand what that board did, we met every single month, okay? The public was more than willing to come to the meeting. It was not hidden, okay? They were willing to come. Veterans, non-veterans, didn't matter. They were able to come, they were able to sit in. We had a tight bond with the VFW and the American Legions in that city. And also, too, the Fleet Reserve was another organization that is out of there. We were a community-based Veteran Advisory Board, because what we did was we actually were the ones who would put on the Memorial Day ceremony and the Veterans Day ceremony with the assistance of the VFW and American Legions. I always made sure that myself and our board incorporated them in everything. And what it did was we started growing. From the time I went on that board, I started doing things, tried to get more output out there. I incorporated the social media. I made sure the Veteran Advisory Board got on the website. Because guess what? Veterans are 20 years old all the way to Mr. Carty and beyond. Doesn't matter what age they are. They all need to be heard in some way, shape, or form. So I'm more than excited about this. I have no problem in Mr. Hewitt, Commissioner Hewitt, and you say you want to keep an eye on it. Again, I apologize, but unfortunately, when I have my stepson who was going through some medical issues, my wife herself, again, not to throw my own personal business out there, but when you have your wife who's going through PTSD and some other issues, and I, quite frankly, that's going to take a priority. Didn't mean that what I'm doing and what I'm going for meant anything less. So I meant no disrespect to you not getting back to you, because I have no problem in getting back to you or anybody out here on the commission board. But again, I was taking care of a veteran. That veteran happened to be my wife. So quite frankly, I was taking care of a veteran. And Mayor Orndorff is correct. My wife had no clue about what Mr. Wine offers. Now she does. Now she does. And guess what? I'm sure she will utilize his services. Once this board is put in, guess what? I hope we put every member on there that is as passionate as I am. Because guess what? From the ground running, I'm ready to go. So I have no problem if anyone has questions, but it is a community organization, and it is about the community. And yes, I will be reaching out to the VFW and the American Legions and anybody else, including Mr. Wine. And I believe there's one other person, Jack, I forget her name, I'm sorry, I have her email. I will be reaching out to all of them to talk to them just so they know who I am and how passionate I am about this. So again, thank you to the board. I'm sorry this became such an issue, because it did become an issue. And the problem is, if you keep pushing things off, that could be another vet that was forgotten about. That's great that they have it down there in Vineland, and it's an amazing organization. But again, my wife, who is a Millville resident, went to the school district here, had no clue about it. So guess what? This board will reach out and get more people involved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dominic.
Don Carty, Millville. I only have a couple things. When Dominic and I were going round and round on social media, I asked him several times in there. In fact, he used the word repeating himself, repetition. I asked him at that time to reach out to the local American Legion. We have an outstanding service leader at the American Legion. Also asked to reach out to the VFW. Also asked to reach out to Sandy Cook. I don't personally know Sandy. I know she does a wonderful job. She never even gave me a pair of socks. I want one this year. But anyhow, I asked him also to reach out to Peter Wine. And as of today, maybe I'm incorrect because I'm getting old, but he hasn't reached out to anyone local. Have you reached out to Peter Wine? Have you gone to see him? No.
Wait a minute, he has.
I'm not going to go. I'm not
And
going to go
you
to
have
that.
to address
But
the-
I'll address them. You're right. You're correct. But this upsets me. I see a commission up here that just passed in second reading something. I have no clue what it is. It says this committee cannot get money. But then it says if this committee wants money, they can ask for money. I also see another thing in there where I don't even know what they're going to do. I guess they're not going to have contact with veterans. Are you going to have contact with veterans? What is wrong with Sandy Cook? What is wrong with the people that these veterans have dealt with for years? What is wrong with getting the right information the first time? As a veteran, and I don't go around telling the world I'm a veteran, they know who I am in Millville. Male veteran men, let me just say men first, have the hardest time to ever reach out for help. Men have a hard time trying to get help because they don't want to say, I need help. 22 veterans a day commit suicide in the United States, and they're looking for help. And I'm not going to say they didn't reach out for it, but I'm going to say they made that first phone call. Somebody that has a really problem is not going to make 2 phone calls. If they don't get what they need in that first call, they're not going to make the second. 22 a day. That's a burden I wouldn't want to carry on my shoulder. And I lived in Millville 50-some years. And I know the VFW and the American Legion. And I'm proud to be a member of both of them. The American Legion has done numerous hours of service to this city. And so has the VFW. So has Peter Wine. Peter Wine was on High Street. Anybody didn't know he was there, I don't know how they don't know he's there. I don't know how you can ride up High Street and not see Peter Wine standing outside talking to a veteran. I don't know how. I've seen it numerous times. I don't see the plan. I don't see the scope of what's going to happen. Are the veterans going to contact the committee? Is the committee going to contact the veterans? Are these people going to be qualified to deal with someone in crisis? That's my only concern. Not everybody can deal if you're not trained with a crisis person. So what's going to happen if somebody gets the wrong information? What's going to happen when they say, gee, Don, I don't have that information for you right here, but if you call this guy, I'm not making that second call if I'm in crisis. I think you should have got this, and Commissioner Quaid, I commend you. I think it should have been studied further. I think it should have been set down, put in stone, how this procedure was going to operate. Putting it on paper, make sure this mic is on, that's great. I have nothing to read, nothing that says who to call, and if nobody knows Peter Wine, homeless people don't have computers usually to look it up on a website. That was the dumbest thing I ever heard. So I think you jumped the gun. Like I said, I don't know how many veterans I know. And I know how many I talk to. And I know how many are not happy. And I shouldn't say this because you're a new board. I'm going to say it about the past board, the commissions. 90% of them don't trust the city of Melville. And they don't want to deal with the city of Melville. You have, what's the population, 26,000 in Millville? And you have 50 people here that's concerned. And why? They didn't trust the board or the commission. You want to be trusted, you need to get details before you sign paperwork. I hope it pans out, I hope it works out, and I hope someday this board will reach out to Peter Wine, Sandy Cook, American Legion, and the VFW. We have things here, and they're in place, and they know what to do, and they know when to respond. It's a shame. Study the next time before you do it.
Thank you, Mr. Carty.
Thank you. Closing remarks, comments, commissioners?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Привіт. Я Дубровенський. Я Бенамін Рамінук. Я Ході Амянський Уркенський Кого Провенський. What I just said is hi, my name is Benjamin Romanek, and I am proud to be a Ukrainian American. Hopefully we all... Thank you. Hopefully we all see the news. It's shocking what's happening just from me, and I hope the rest of the commissioners and the rest of the city knows that the city is behind any Ukrainian American that is needing or wanting help. I'm part of St. Nick's Ukrainian Catholic Church on Cumberland Road. We've been asked about monetary donations. We're in workings with the Ukrainian Cathedral in Philadelphia. So please reach out directly to them or to us for any information you would like regarding this drastic and unimaginable times in Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go down the line.
Commissioner Q.
we're gonna go.
We'll go get that line.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody who came up to the mic tonight. Your comments were well noted. And hopefully this will be a successful endeavor, and I believe it probably will be. My feelings are. Also, to let you know that I forgot in my report that we have a structure on Broad and High. The old park used to be a fountain there, but it was tore out because homeless people used to play in it. So, and the kids were playing in it. So now there's a structure there. The structure was going to be taken down, but it's going to be refurbished because there's many in the art district who likes that structure. So it's going to be refurbished. A footing was put there the other day, and the school will be sending shop classes out to help sand it down and repaint it into some nice colors. And that structure was actually made by a student probably almost 10 years ago now from Millville Senior High. So we're trying to keep that structure, but bring some beauty to it. So that being said, it's progress and we're moving forward on streets and roads. And again, if you have brush that needs to be picked up, and you don't see anybody, you know, taking some time to pick it up, just give a call, give your address down to Streets and Roads. They're only gonna make a one-time sweep through there, through wherever they come down at, which street. So make sure your brush is out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, first I want to thank everybody for coming out, those watching. And again, I'm gonna say, I'm not against what we did. I'm against the speed of it. Cindy, the way I read our ordinance, we will be deciding who goes on that Veterans Advisory Board. We need you, the veterans need you to be on that board. I think you will agree with me, Dom? Let's get away from that. It's, you. Ben, you did a special activity today, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Well, it was such a rush prior to
Coming here.
But yes, we totally forgot. Yes, we actually, before the work session started, we raised the Ukrainian flag underneath the American flag here at City Hall. So unfortunately, it's dark outside right now, but make sure to see it on a bright sunny day, please.
And getting back to my comments. Tim, yes, I read your emails. I did. I reached out, I looked at the Cape May ordinance that there was big problems with. I looked at the Hamilton Township ordinance. I've seen the Hamilton Township ordinance where they have a 1% property tax holdback that goes and is involved with the Veterans Advisory Board. Yes, I did my legwork. I hope I spoke my piece. I didn't speak against, but you know, we are 5 separate people that have to do a long 4-year job to start with. I'm old, as some people say that go to that microphone. I don't think I got too many terms to sit here. I know I don't, but some may. We're all gonna learn, but we need to speak. Don Carty, you said it about clear. I've said all the time at that microphone, these seats belong to the city of Millville. I said it when I campaigned. I said we were going to be clear and transparent. That's all I was asking for, was slow down, do it right. It's over with. But clear and transparent. I'd like to have people come in these seats and questions. I'm not on Facebook. I don't deal with Facebook. I'll deal with it when I'm on vacation and stuff like that. If that's how this VA board is going to communicate, I'm sorry, but that's going to be sad. Again, thank you everybody for coming out. Thank everybody for going to the plunge. Yeah, I was there, but I did not. Like I said at the last meeting, I was not even going to tip my toe or finger in the water. It was cold out there for all the people that came out. Kudos to all of you. Kudos to Sam Cruz, Mayor, with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we will see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you for coming out.
February 10th, 10:10, or 21st, 10:10 a.m. I called a gentleman, and I got a weird message. Not weird, pretty funny. Something about me riding, and he may or may not call me back. He didn't, but I did call him. So let's keep that in mind. Second, we did get input. The input didn't just come through this room. We got your input through this room, Mr. Cardy Jr., and not if you're a junior, well, you know what I mean, Tim. So we got your input. We received input from the Kimberly Cardy. I received much more input in person from many people that supported this. So just because we didn't go with what your input was, doesn't mean we don't welcome it and we don't want it. We do. In fact, like I said, I sought out somebody else's input that you know, for whatever reason, didn't get back to me in time. So, you know, that input is valuable. So let me get on with some other stuff here. Pipes. Let's talk about lead and galvanized pipes. Well, the state of New Jersey says we're going to have to replace them. I'll have more. We're in a preliminary stage now, looking for funding, looking for exactly what we have to do, and that'll be more ongoing. And you know, one person mentioned what's the next advisory board, and so an idea popped into my head. I'd love to see an advisory board formed for the Board of Education. I've watched my education tax rates go up every year by the maximum amount. I've watched test scores, they're plummeting to some of the worst in the state. I've watched the administrative staff increase, and I've watched the teaching staff decrease to the point that we've had to send kids to school for half a day instead of a whole day. So if there's any of you who would like to form that advisory board, please do so, but don't ask me to introduce an ordinance. And with that, progress.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here, everybody that's watching. We appreciate you coming out. I do appreciate the comments. I appreciate the support. I think everybody, my fellow commissioners, said everything that needed to be said tonight, so I'll keep it short and sweet. I hope we see you in 2 weeks. Tonight's interesting. So again, I just thank you. God bless you all. God bless America, and have a great evening. I have a motion to adjourn, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.